What's up, fellas? So today we're here to talk about how a high-value man chooses a career. Now, it's important that I do these purpose videos to keep a little balance over here because the guys who over here that really don't care about the women, I want to be fair to them and make sure I do some purpose videos too. So for all my guys that's been over here, watching the videos on all the ways to know if a bitch cheating on you and all this other bullshit. So they just been patient. So I have to how I told you guys you have to throw bitches a bone, validation bone every now and then. I gotta throw my purpose boys a bone every now and then, all right? So I know the views are not the same, but I had to show them some love too. All right, so I came up with my list. All right, so the number one way, if it's me, let's just say right now I just stopped being a YouTuber, right? And I had to go back into the work field, right? How would I choose a career? Number one, what's the earning potential? And I could see your face right now when I said that. Oh, come on, MS. It's supposed to be about the passion and the love. Let me tell y'all ass something. I had a lot of love for personal training. But if that love meant me making $30K a year, all of a sudden, I ain't in love no more, motherfucker. So number one with me is, although the passion is good, I got to know what's the earning potential for that field. Some of you guys might be surprised at what the earning potential for some of these fields are. You don't do no homework, you run your ass to school, you take out $150,000 worth of debt to make $45,000 a year before taxes. All right, and I'm not knocking the $45,000 a year. I'm knocking the fact that you had to go all in debt to make $45,000 a year. So before you guys go into these, go to school and get these degrees and stuff, you need to find out what's the earning potential for that field. I need to know. A lot of jobs sound important, but they don't pay shit. Whenever a job wants to make a job sound important, they just throw analysis on the end of it. Political analysis, field analysis. They should call your ass broke analysis. They just throw analysis on there to make you feel good because I'm an analysis. What the fuck does that mean? How much money does it pay? The earning potential. Not what you gonna start with. We already know you're gonna start with nothing, just like I did as a trainer, just as I did as a YouTuber. Your videos ain't monetized, you ain't got no Patreon, you ain't got no books, you ain't making shit. But hey man, that's a good video. Thanks man, you helped me out a lot. You ain't gonna make a goddamn thing when you start YouTube. But you get some likes. There you get some likes. That's your pay. You got a like and a comment that said, hey man, that's a good video. But what's the earning potential? So as you guys know, as much YouTubers making millions of dollars, that's the earning potential. You just have to build it like that. What's the earning potential as a trainer? Well, if I can charge $125 a session, and if I can get that to be 30 to 40 sessions a week, I'm looking at 150 to over 200 grand a year. It's a good earning potential. So I want to know that. I don't want to hear them. Listen, guys, listen. Having love and passion for something is good, but we got to start talking like women on this subject. Love don't pay no fucking bills. I'm going to tell you that shit right goddamn now. Now, I know some of you guys might be omega males and you don't care about materialism and all that. That's great. Go buy your little hut and go fishing every day. You do you and I'm going to do me. I tell you guys, I'm a Sigma man. I think most of you guys know that I'm a Sigma man, y'all, because I don't hang with dudes and shit like that. Right? Now, I don't need no friends, but I need some goddamn money. That is a fact. And so it's going to have some earning potential, period. If it don't got no earning potential, it don't got me doing it potential. Let me tell you that shit right now. So that if it's me, number one, what's the earning potential? Everything else is a distant second to that. Number two, how much natural talent do I have in it? Natural ability. If you suck at math, becoming an engineer might not be the best choice. You need to have some natural ability. You want to be a rapper, but you can't rap. You want to be a comedian, but you're not funny. I understand you have a passion for it and a love for it, but you suck. Flat out, point blank, you suck. So if you don't have no natural born ability, see, one thing y'all guys always hear is about, oh, you gotta work hard at something. You could be anything you want. What if I got a learning disability? Can I be an astronaut? They just trying to give y'all some hope. I hope y'all don't believe that bullshit. You can't be everything you want. If you run like Forrest Gump, your ass ain't going in the NFL. You can't be anything you want. If you got a 2-inch dick, you ain't gonna be a porn star. How the hell you gonna be anything you want? Y'all drunk that Kool-Aid when motherfuckers just getting y'all a little pep talk. You can be anything you want. Bullshit. You can't be anything you want. At the end of the day, you must have some ability to do something. Some ability, some good natural talent to do something. If you don't, you won't make a good living at it. You won't make a living at it at all. So that would be number 2. I would not pick nothing that I don't have a natural ability at. All right. Understanding the body, with me when I became a personal trainer, me understanding the body was something that I always had a natural ability. I could look at the biomechanics of something, and when it's explained to me, I could understand it. So me becoming a personal trainer just makes sense because I got a lot of natural ability in understanding biomechanics. Naturally, I'm also naturally inclined, mechanically inclined. All right, guys, while I make these good YouTube videos and stuff like that, I always been a good observer of human nature, not just women, human nature. I always just kind of sat back and just kind of observed people and they bullshit. I always just been good at that. Even when I was young, I always just kind of observed people. Number 3, guys, how much passion do I have for something? Now, this is a conundrum because sometimes you will see people that have a talent, a natural ability to do something, but they don't have a passion for it. And sometimes you'll see people don't have a passion for something, but they have a natural ability in it. Okay, guys, so they'll switch around. You have a natural ability for something, but I don't love it. Or I love something, but I don't got a natural talent. But you must have a passion for something. But having passion alone, the reason this is number 3, having passion alone is not enough if you don't got some kind of talent into it. Now, if you want to just do shit for a hobby, then do it for a hobby. Listen, that's when the passion comes in. If you don't have a natural ability to do something, but you got a passion and you don't plan on making a living off of it, hey, go do what you want to do. That's a hobby. But he ain't asked me how to choose a hobby. He's asked me how to choose a career, which means make a living, potentially take care of a family. Which means that you better have some natural ability. But if you can have all the natural ability you want to, but if you don't have a love for it, you won't put the work in to become better at it. So this is what I mean by this, guys. I always like to use for an example is Vince Carter. He's my poster child for a lot of talent, but not a lot of passion. When y'all guys see Vince Carter and let's compare Vince Carter and Kobe Bryant. Which one of those guys do y'all think has more natural ability in basketball, natural athleticism? Probably Vince Carter. I mean, you never know 100% for sure, but probably Vince Carter is probably more talented athletically to play basketball. But if you look at their careers, I never saw the passion to get better. And that's why Kobe Bryant was a better player, because he had enough talent, which he was a very talented player. I just don't think he was more naturally talented than Vince Carter. The difference is Kobe Bryant had more of a passion for basketball than Vince Carter. And that's why Kobe Bryant is a top 10 player of all time, and Vince Carter is probably considered one of the top 10 guys who didn't reach his full potential. That's why Vince Carter should have been everything that Kobe Bryant was. He just didn't have the passion. Well, you say, what the hell that got to do with anything, guys? Well, this is what this matters to. If you don't have passion for something, it's going to greatly inhibit your earning potential. If you don't have passion for something. Vince Carter didn't make nowhere near the money that Kobe Bryant made in his career. He made good money, but he didn't make the money that Kobe Bryant made, because when you reach the top of your profession or something, you're going to get paid as such. Okay? When I was in the city and I was a personal trainer, I had passion to learn as much as I could, combined with natural ability to understand biomechanics. You combine that, and I was making over 150 grand a year as a trainer, plus the natural ability to sell. Let me throw that in there too, because you got a lot of people that understand biomechanics, they can't sell. I had all of that. I could sell, I understood biomechanics, plus I had a passion for it. That equates out to $150,000 to $200,000 a year as a trainer. You had people who didn't have that passion for it, so they didn't work their ass off to become as good as me, and so they made 50, 60 grand a year. I had a passion for the understanding human anatomy. I literally studied everything I could put my fucking hands on. I literally binge watched Athlete X videos all the fucking time when I was a trainer. Literally all the time. Lane Norton, all these guys. Read as many books as I could on this shit. I was just driven to become the best trainer that I could, because I had a passion for it, and it fascinated me. It fascinated me with the way why the body would do this or do that. I was just fascinated with it. So that's why I reached my top earning potential. If you don't have that passion for it, you will never reach your earning potential. I don't care how much natural ability you have in it. You won't reach your top of your earning potential. So you must have a passion for it. Another thing what passion goes to do, what we're going to be doing this career for? Probably what, 30, 40 years, give or take. Let's just hypothetically say this guy who asked me this, 30 years, you're going to retire what, when you're 60? You want to be doing something every day for the next 30 years that you fucking just doing for a check? I mean, people do it every day, so you wouldn't be setting no records, and then it's been done. I've done jobs I didn't like, but it sucks. And you know what Monday morning feels like? Feels like you're going to a fucking funeral. And Sunday night, you start getting chest palpitations. Just thinking about that damn job. Chest. Like, I done had jobs that I hated. I done had jobs that was tolerable. I didn't love it, but it was tolerable. I ain't hate it. But ain't nothing was like having a job that you love to go to. And that's how I felt when I became a personal trainer. I loved, even though I had to get up early in the morning, I slept in the damn gym because I had so much passion, because I loved it. Now, of course, that passion ran its course with that, but still. And that's just me typically, right? My life is the kind of thing where I become real good at something, then I need another challenge, right? It's not that I stopped loving it. It's just like, okay, I need another challenge in life. The next thing I'm going to choose with this is it in high demand? For all you guys wondering, well, why would it need to be in high demand besides me getting a job? Obviously, if it's not in demand, you probably won't even get a job. But this goes to how much tolerance you have to have for a particular spot, if that makes sense. So if a job is in high demand, if you get a job and you're in a toxic environment, or you got a dickhead boss, you don't have to take it because the job is in such high demand. If you at a job that's like, for case in point, let's just use me as an example, right? When I was in New York City as a trainer, they was closing down all the New York sports club, right? And they closed down David and Barton, all right? And they closed down most of them, not all. So pretty much, before I left New York City, the Equinox had pretty much became the only ball club in town. They pretty much had closed down all the New York sports club, not all of them, but pretty much all of them, and pretty much all the David Bartons. They were the competition. So it was Equinox or nothing. That's not good. You don't want to be in a field where there's no competition. You see this with professional wrestlers. When Vince McMahon bought the WCW out, you think they got more money? Do you think the wrestlers on their next contract with no WCW to go to use as a pitfall to pit them against each other? Do you think Vince McMahon treatment of them got better or worse when you don't have no competition? When something's in high demand, the company's in a position to where they need you more than you need them. That's the position you want to be in. You get better treatment that way. So outside of just a job being available, when you're in something that's in high demand, you get better treatment. That's just the way it is, guys. If you got 5 companies that do your particular skill set in a city or a town, they gonna treat you better than they would if they was the only ball club in town, if they was the only game in town. I can tell you that shit right now. That's just naturally the way it is. YouTube make rules up as they go. Why? They pretty much the only ball game in town. Who you gonna go to? You gonna go to Daily Motion? Who you gonna go? Vimeo? They'll make me laugh. So that's why every time you turn around, they do what the fuck they want to do. Ain't nothing you can do about it. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna start your own platform? Good luck with that. So that's why they every time you turn around, that's why they do what the hell they want to do. Every time you turn around, they got a new rule out. What you gonna do? You don't like it? You think they would treat the red pill content creators the way they do if it was another 2 or 3 other spots like them, as big as them, as had they platform like them? You think they would be treating content creators the way they do? Hell no. So that's why you want to make sure something in high demand, you get treated better. Next, guys, does the field or profession has a lifestyle that you would like? Case in point, is it a job that's like a travel job or like a trucking job where you be on the road all the time and stuff like that? Is that something you think you would like to do? I can tell you right now, that would not work for me. I would not like to be a guy that's traveling and stuff like that. The lifestyle has to be on point. Do you have to work a lot of weekends? All right. So you need to look at stuff like that as in what's the lifestyle. I know most doctors and stuff like that, when they first get on, I don't know how it goes forever, but most of these ER doctors and stuff, they work 100 hours a week. You got to ask yourself, how much is money? Now, understand that you could say, well, what if it's just a short period of time for a little grind, maybe 5 or 7 years, and then it kicks down? And if you can make that sacrifice, you can make that adjustment, which I would too. But some of them are not. Some of them, that's just a career. I had a client that was a big time lawyer, and he used to tell me that he worked over 100 hours a week. And I remember specifically telling him, man, I know you probably make over $1 million a year, but I said, I would rather make 150, 200 grand a year and live comfortable than to work all those hours that you working and have no life. And understand, guys, this is not for a short period of time. That's his life. That's never going to end. That's the profession he's in. He's one of those big, he's one of those guys that sue big companies for millions and millions of dollars. So it's not like this is a short period of time. He's already been doing that for over 10 years. That's just his life. And then I seen the picture of his wife on Facebook, and I'm like, I know she got another dude on the side, pretty girl too. So you got to this is just things you got to ask yourself. That wouldn't work for me. I want some money, but I don't want to make 30 grand a year, but I don't need to work all day and make $1 million either. I just want to be comfortable. That's all. Lifestyles of the rich and famous. Listen, if it comes, it comes. Don't get me wrong. I'll take it. But not if it's got to come at the expense of me working all the fucking time. I'll do it for a short period of time. I'll do it for 5 years. I'll make that sacrifice. But it's got to be some payoff to where I know eventually at some point that I'm going to be able to kick back and relax and maybe work a typical, 50-hour work week. That's fine. I can even do 60. that's fine. But some of y'all guys might not know some of these professions, some of these big professions, some of these high-end professions like lawyers, doctors, some of these Fortune 500 companies, stockbrokers. I train stockbrokers that work 14-hour days and shit like that. You got to put a balance on how much you want to live life and how much you want to make money, and make so much money that you working all the time, you don't even have time to spend it. You got to weigh all that into it. It's not worth it to me if I got to work all day. It's just not, I'm not finna work $100 a week for the next 30 years. Make all this money and I ain't live no life. Fuck, that ain't gonna work for me. All right. So there's a balance there. Next, guys, how much potential for growth does it have? So like if you, some professions just suck at growth. And what I mean by that is, it's one of those things where it's not about how good you are. It's more about how much of an ass kisser you are. And see, that's the thing that bothers me that I wouldn't like. If I'm gonna be in a profession, I wanted to be in one of those professions to where my growth is based off my production, not who ass I'm kissing today. A lot of these jobs, guys, they call it playing the game, which means that you basically kiss the boss ass. And see, I like the jobs where the growth is set out from the front, where it's basically based off of how much you can produce. That's what I like. So as a trainer at the gym at the Equinox, you go from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to potential level 4, right? And that is simply based off of you doing a certain amount of sessions for a certain amount of time, right? And then the manager just checks your programs to make sure your programs are on point. And that's how you get promoted. You don't get promoted off of, let's see, if I go up here and kiss the boss ass today, kiss the manager ass today, and they'll promote me. I don't like no shit like that. I like distinct outlines on what's needed for growth, not ass kissing, because I would never grow. All right? So make sure you look at that. Next, guys, what's the work environment? Are you in a cubicle all day? Or are you outside in the hot temperatures all day? I did construction work. I'll never fucking do it again. It sucks in the wintertime and it sucks in the fucking summertime. So if you somebody who's going into the profession, you need to look at what's the typical environment like. Could you do a cubicle? I could never do a cubicle. I guess I could do any goddamn thing if I had to pay the fucking bills for a short period of time. I could goddamn clean the dog's ass all day if that's what it took to put food on the goddamn table. So I shouldn't say that. But if I got choices, as a high value man, you should have choices. I'm not going to go and do something that's a cubicle job all day. That's me. Okay. I'm more of like, I would like to be around the time kind of floats by. Case in point, when I used to work for this temp service back in Alabama, and the lady sent me to a job that was a little bit more work, but I was moving around all day, opposed to this other job where I was going to be stationary. And she thought that I would just like the stationary job because you ain't doing shit. But like I told her, the time goes slow. All you do is sit and watch the clock all day. And so even though the other job was like loading and packing and stuff like that, more physical job, it was more moving, and it keeps your mind occupied the way you ain't sitting there all day. What time, how long for lunch and shit like that. So if that makes sense. So if you're doing something that makes the time fly by, even if it's more work, I guarantee you that'll be more enjoyable than for me than to be stationary doing nothing. Next, what's the typical work schedule? So is it a morning job? Will that work for you? Night job? Will that work for you? Will I work weekends? That matters. With me, I always liked it first shift. Like most of you guys, you're going into the professional field. I can sit here and tell you now, well, most of you guys, if you're going to the professional field, you're going to work a typical 9 to 5, right? I'm more thinking about the guys. I'm thinking about my past when I used to do jobs. If you do a factory job, you know, you got your first shift, second shift, third shift, and all this other type of shit. But most of you guys, if you're talking about a career, not a fucking job, a factory job specifically, you mostly gonna be working a 9 to 5. So that probably won't pertain to you. But for all my other guys out there that's gonna do like laborious jobs, which even if you got a skill or trade, you might be in a position to where you work first, second, and third shift. The reason I want to bring this up is most times when you start out, you got to get second or third shift. You don't get first shift. All right. So you need to look all into that. And I guess this would go with the traveling and all that other shit too. Just like, what lifestyle do you want to live? That lifestyle counts for something. Man, you get fucked up with one of these damn jobs that just don't allow for much of a lifestyle, man, you can become depressed. I can tell you that shit now. When I worked the late shift, the night shift, obviously for the nightclub when I was a bouncer, right? And it was typically 10 to 4. And, you know, you wake up around noon, you go to the gym, it's time to go to work again. So it was like I wouldn't want to do it again. Let's just say it like that. So you need to know what's the schedule. Is it something you wouldn't mind doing or something like that? Me, I would not want to work no third shift no more. I can just tell you that shit right now. That's not going to work for me. As a trainer, most people don't like a trainer schedule. I didn't particularly mind it. So for all you guys that don't know, like a personal trainer, you work early in the morning, you get the middle of the day off, and then you come back at night. That seemed to work for me, to work 4 hours, get 3 or 4 hours off, then come back and do your eating. I kind of like that, but most people don't like that. They want to just knock everything out. So you just need to know whatever that job does, it fits a lifestyle that you want to do. Next, guys, do you have to interact with a lot of customers? So for all you guys that don't know, customers are the biggest pain in the ass. Now, do not confuse this with sales, right? When you're going up and you're trying to sell somebody, they don't feel as entitled to be a dickhead as somebody that's already a customer. So if you're somebody who's got to interact with a lot of customers, I wouldn't even say customer service, just period, just interacting. Like say you're a teacher and you got to interact with all these bad motherfuckers. Are you a people person? If you're not a people person, you might don't want to do a job that you're going to have to interact with a lot of people, just period. So also a lot of coworkers. So a lot of you guys know how high school is and middle school. I hope a lot of you young guys know that when you get in the work field, them motherfuckers just as cliquish as they is in high school. They clicked up, they act just like fucking high school, nothing changed. A bunch of 30, 40-year-olds running around in cliques like they in fucking high school. A lot of toxic ass environments. So you need to know that. So not only have to interact with a lot of customers, are you gonna have to interact with a lot of fellow employees? When I was a bouncer, I had to interact with a lot of people who would come up, but not too crazy or nothing like that. I wasn't a doorman. They tried to get me to be the doorman. I knew I would have choked the shit out of somebody. Dr. Herman had them take me off that shit. There's no way in the hell I could be a doorman. Dealing with all these people, they can't come in, and then they have a nerve to want to say something smart. See, I knew that wouldn't work for me. So I was like, no, I don't want to do the doorman. And last, guys, and this is an important one, is it a luxury job? So if you're going to choose a career that's a luxury job, per se as a personal trainer or a masseuse or anything like that, that's not a necessity for life, you must understand that you're at the bottom of the totem pole of priorities. You're the first thing to go when things go bad. And so that means that you need to make sure you take that into account, that whenever the economy goes bad, and it will go bad, you have to be prepared for it. If anybody you got business with, customers with, whatever you're doing, right? Say you got a detailing business or you want anything that's a complete luxury that people don't necessarily need 100%, you're always the first thing. You're the first thing that's going to suffer if things go bad with the economy of their life. So you need to know that was the first thing they told us as a personal trainer, that if things ever go bad, you're the first thing to go. So you need to know that. All right, guys. So that's how I would go. And I didn't mention the benefits, but of course, make sure that if the benefits matter, guys, you have to factor that into the pay. For instance, a job might only pay, let's say 90K. But when you factor in the benefits, I had one girl who got so much fucking sick time off, paid time off, and vacation that it came out to over a month. When you added up all the paid time off she got, vacations, sick days, paid time off, when you added all the shit up, it was over 30 days. I mean, well over 30, like 40 days. That's like a free month, literally. So you have to factor all that in, the 401k match, health benefits, all that type of stuff, pensions, all that type of stuff. You have to factor that into the earning potential. Don't just look at the earning potential and say this is what the earning potential. How much of those benefits worth? How much is getting 40 fucking days off during a year, paid time off, really worth? Okay, guys, so make sure you take into account the benefits also. All right, guys, so that's how I would go about choosing a career if I was to get back into the workforce, which I have no plans to do. All right, I'll get back with you guys later.